All right, it is the last Friday of the month of February 2023. Wherever you are watching us from your right on time for Kirk in the morning, welcome to this particular broadcast where we'll be taking a look at what has been happening all over the week and, of course, talking matters to do with the state of the nation. 14 days ultimatum given by the opposition to the state for them to reduce taxes as well as return subsidies that were removed once the Kenya Kwanza government took over. But, well, what does that mean for the country? The opposition chief Raila Odinga calling for the government, if it does not act in 14 days, then it will be able to call for a massive mass action in the common language. That is what is referred as maandamano. And of course, we'll be talking that later on in the program as we continue. But as we always do, first things first, we'll be taking a look at what is happening on the road. So feel free and feel proud to be part of this conversation this morning. We are streaming live on Facebook at Kirk TV Kenya and also on YouTube at Kirk TV Kenya. So you can be able to follow this particular conversation as well and also follow this broadcast live from where you are. Welcome aboard. My name is Chris Samba. As we always do, first things first, let's take a look at what is happening on the roads this morning. All right, and I just be taking a brush off on the major roads of how they look at this particular hour. Of course, 7 minutes past 8 a.m. in the morning. What does the roads look like? Just let's begin with one of the major roads, that is Thika Superhighway. Thika Superhighway doesn't look so much good, especially right past Survey all the way through Kenya Utalii College to the junction, or rather the feeder road linking from Kiambu Road to the Thika Superhighway at Muthaiga all the way to Pangani and through Tungara. Doesn't look so much good, Thika Road this morning. So if you can be able to avoid the major road, then you'll be safer to get where you're going right on time. And just taking a look at yet another road, I'll take a look at Jogoo Road. Jogoo Road doesn't look so much good this morning. Of course, right past Makadara looks so much congested, some little traffic snarl up and slow movement of vehicles at Jogoo Road. So if you can be able to avoid Jogoo Road, then this morning, or rather at this particular hour, it doesn't look so much good, especially right after Makadara all the way moving to the entrance of Central Business District through Gikomba and Kamukunji. Then if you are using that particular route, it doesn't look so much good, especially past Makadara. And just taking a look at yet another road is Langata Road. Doesn't look so much bad this morning, but a little bit of snarl up at the junction there linking from Bagathi Highway and then Timol to Langata Road. Just a little bit of a snarl up there, but when you descend all the way down to Nyayo Stadium, that roundabout of Bunyala Road, there is a little bit of a traffic snarl up there, maybe because of the traffic control that is happening at that particular area. That is Langata Road. Taking a look at what Ngong Road looks like. Ngong Road doesn't look so much bad this morning, but a little bit of snarl up at different points, but looks good this morning, especially when you are beginning on Ngong Road. But when you get to around the upper hill, there is a little bit of slow traffic flow. They are descending down to community area all the way entrance to the Central Business District. So that is what Ngong Road looks like this morning. And of course, looking at the Central Business District, doesn't look so much good. Of course, it is a Friday and the last Friday of the month, so a little bit of a lot of movements happening at the Central Business District, especially through this road all the way to Haile Selassie Avenue. Doesn't look so much good. University Way, of course, not looking so much good because of the movement. Ngara is quite congested with movement of vehicles. So if you can be able to leave your vehicle behind, especially while at the Central Business District, then it will be of great importance this morning. So that is what the roads look like this morning. Of course, taking a look at Parklands Road descending into the Central Business District doesn't look so much bad. Parklands Road looks so much good, especially when you get past MP Shah Hospital as you descend down, getting into the Central Business District. Of course, I've told you the Central Business District does not look so much good this morning. All major roads looking quite okay, apart from Thika Superhighway and Jogoo Road, which have heavy traffic as well as you get closer to the Central Business District. And that is what is happening on the major roads this morning. Of course, we'll keep you up to date as we take a look and a glimpse of what the roads will be looking like as we continue with this particular broadcast. Up next is what is in the newspapers this morning. All right, and just taking a look at what is in the newspapers this morning. Of course, beginning with the Daily Nation. The Daily Nation has a front picture there of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, and the caption there is, "Why Raila lost his African Union job during our meeting on the sidelines of the second Dakar African Infrastructure Financing Summit. I indicated the challenges to my continued availability for the role of AU High Representative." That is the Right Honorable Raila Odinga responding to a letter by the African Union that terminated, or rather an uproar of what really transpired for him to announce his an end at his tenure at the AU as the High Representative for Infrastructure and Development. And that is a story there by the Daily Nation on pages 4 and 5. A cloud of controversy on Thursday swirled around the circumstances of Azimio leader Raila Odinga's exit as the African Union Commission's envoy for infrastructure development in Africa. Did he quit, as he says, or he was pushed out, as alleged by diplomatic and Kenyan government sources? That is a story there written by the Daily Nation on pages 4 and 5, of course, interrogating each and every scenario and situation that came out after that announcement by the African Union. And on top page there talks about Kenyans to get digital IDs in a year. ICT and Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo says Kenyans will have digital IDs which will be anchored on the national security system by February next year. That is a new development there in the Ministry of ICT and Digital Economy. Of course, talking about Kenyans to get digital IDs, and as a way to see how that pans out. And on the bottom of the Daily Nation has a bigger story there of public universities to raise fees and reduce their staff. Yeah, that is a tough decision there by the Ministry of Education to push public universities into raising their school fees and reduce their staff as they seek to tame the ballooning loan debt that is within the public institutions. And of course, that has not sat well with the parents and the students. Of course, them coming out to criticize the government and call out the Minister of Education for their continued raise of school fees in the public universities, and also cutting out the help loan that has been an additive value to the students in their study at the higher institutions. Of course, that is a story that will be developing of every day, and as it develops, we'll also be trying to look at what comes out new of that particular situation. Kenya Revenue Authority boss James Githii Mburu, who is the Commissioner General, exit as top officials get a shake-up, and that is one of the biggest stories there, talking about the KRA Commissioner General James Githii Mburu has exited the agency after 3 years in changes that have also affected heads of department. Of course, That is one of the new developments in the matters to do with government reorganization. And the last page, or rather the back page of the Daily Nation, has a quite controversial story there that talk about the National Cereal Producing Board, which says they only have 50,000 bags of maize in the stores. The agency says it had not received funding from Treasury to replenish stocks. What that means is a rise in the price of unga if the government does not have the enough number of bags of maize bags in the store. And that is the story there by the Daily Nation. You can grab your copy and have a look at it. It's on the back page of the Daily Nation. 5,600 is the new price at which NCPB is buying a 90-kilogram bag of maize from farmers. This is an increase from the previous 5,100 shillings. That is the Daily Nation. Just take a look at what the Standard newspaper looks like this morning. Parents shocker on varsity fee plan. It is a bitter pill to swallow for both parents and students, as raising tuition fees, pushing parents to clear all areas, increasing state funding, and executing staff layoffs remain top priority solutions in bid to save public universities. The Standard now has another version and a deeper version of that particular story. You can get your copy, and on pages 4 and 5 is where you get that particular story. And on matters to the national issues, United States First Lady Jill Biden just jets in for a cause. The wife of U.S. President Joe Biden trip is aimed at strengthening America's partnerships with Kenya and the African continent, with focus on women economic empowerment projects. And anytime between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. in the evening, Jill Biden will be landing in the country for an official tour after visiting Namibia from Wednesday. And that is a story by the Standard newspaper on pages 3, highlighting the key issues that Jill Biden will be coming to highlight, or rather to have a talk in the country. Duplicate of the stories of the shake-up in KRA as General Commissioner General Githimburu exits, Raila AU high rep job 8 months early. That is a revelation now by the Standard, which talks about 8 months were left before the tenure of Raila Odinga would end at the AU. So was he pushed out, or did he resign? That is the big question. And of course, the Standard and the Daily Nation trying to answer some of those particular questions, and also interrogating the in-depth of that particular story. On pages 5 is where you get an in-depth of the issue facing the education sector in regards to higher education. And that is what the Standard newspaper is talking about, and doesn't have much to dwell on as well. So if you get your copy, then you can be able to get a glimpse of the major top stories that are on the Standard newspaper, as well as the Daily Nation. Just a quick story there on page 9 that talks about a police officer who was found guilty of killing lover is now sentenced to life imprisonment. An administration police officer, Patrick Nyapara, of course, that is a story that raised more eyebrows when it happened, and now the officer has been sentenced to life imprisonment. That is what the newspapers are talking about this morning. Up next is news at this hour. All right, and now we'll be moving quickly on. Just take a look at the news at this hour. Of course, what has been happening, or rather, what is expected to happen in a very short while. And just to begin this particular broadcast, we'll be beginning with a story on security update, where the government has insisted that the ongoing security operation in the North Rift will continue to intensify as security agencies seek to smoke out and tame bandits who have caused havoc in the region. While speaking on Thursday, Rift Valley Regional Commissioner Dr. Abdi Hassan revealed that at least 2 bandits had been arrested in Kainuk following a failed attempted attack on KDF soldiers and police officers one patrol. The regional commissioner confirming that at least 23 guns have now been surrendered voluntarily during the amnesty period.
Police and also attack members of KDF, and in the process I think they met what they were looking for, and they were repulsed, and we also arrested 2 bandits. These bandits are already charged in court, and investigations are continuing. We also recovered 1 firearm, but in total, as we speak now, we have recovered a total of 23 firearms which were surrendered voluntarily.
Serikali haina mipango ya kufungia wananchi wengine kwenda sehemu nyingine. Ile sehemu kazi ambayo inajulikana hivi sasa ni curfew, na ni curfew ya usiku, na curfew hiyo inaambatana na sheria. Yale mengine tutawachia vikosi vyetu waweze kukabiliana na wao jinsi inavyotakana kulingana na mujibu wa sheria. Hatutatoka nje ya sheria. Kwa hivyo wale watu ambao wako na dukuduku, wako na wasiwasi, shauku, na pengine wanasema ya kwamba mambo haya tumeyazoea, basi wacha tukutane baadaye tuone kama mazoea yamekuwa mazoea.
In Kainuk, where bandits attempted to raid police and also attack members of KDF, and in the process I think they met what they were looking for, and they were repulsed, and we also arrested 2 bandits.
And now President William Ruto has accused the Azimio la Umoja coalition of insulting Kenyans' collective intelligence in what seems like a retaliatory response to Azimio leader Raila Odinga's ultimatum to have the Independent Boundaries and Electoral Commission IEBC open its servers pertaining the past general elections within 14 days. The president has claimed that the commission has been transparent all through the electoral period, including the period the presidential election petition was determined in court.
To now turn around and pretend that servers to be open at this point in time is to take us for granted, is to believe that there are fools in Kenya. I want to tell our friends that the servers have always been open. They were open during the identification. They were open during the voting. They were open during the posting of the results. They were open during the tallying in Bomas. They were open when the results were announced. They were open when the matters went to court. The servers were open when the court determined the election. To now pretend and tell us about servers is an insult to our collective intelligence, is an insult to our democracy. And I will inform you that there is a big shortage of fools in Kenya.
And at the same time, in what looks like an acting of saving face, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said that his statement on the government being a company of shares was misunderstood. DP Gachagua now maintains that the Kenya Kwanza government shall serve all Kenyans equally, although has maintained that in appointments the president has a right to choose from those that voted for him first.
Bwana asifiwe. Kwa majina naitwa Mirka Waboi, nimeokoka Yesu ni Bwana. Ninamshukuru kwa wakati huu. She testified Christ as her personal savior until her demise.
Her Excellency ahikile na tondu ngare tagwo ni mundu na muthoniwe wathani ithuĩ tuokatathoni.
President William Ruto and I will serve the whole country in matters development. The other day we were in Siaya. Those people did not vote for us. We were in Homa Bay. They did not vote for us. We are working for the whole country because the people of Kenya pay taxes. But in forming our government, the president can only pick people who believe in him, who believe in his agenda, who believe in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. There is no way he can pick you as a minister in his government when previously you are saying he is useless and he doesn't know what he is doing. And you are saying bottom-up economic agenda is not possible. How can he pick people who are saying his programs cannot work to come and assist him? That is why I said. And I said those people who understand William Ruto, who believe in him, who agree with his policies, are the ones who voted for him. So before he can pick others, he'll pick those ones first.
And the Law Society of Kenya LSK has decried alleged harassment of its members by state organs. According to LSK President Eric Theuri, the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution and the National Police are being used to interfere with advocate-client confidentiality. This comes in the wake of Advocate Dunstan Omari, who represents former Interior Cabinet Secretary Dr. Fred Matiang'i, was summoned by the DCI to record a statement over claims that police raided Matiang'i's house earlier in the month.
We urge the executive wing, together with the police, to operate firmly within the four corners of the Constitution, to uphold the rule of law and to ensure that in the conduct of their duties, they are guided only by the considerations set out in the law and not to be guided by any other ulterior motives.
And now in matters to do with sports and specifically boxing, popular Tanzanian boxer Karim Mandonga, known as Mtukazi, will take on Kenyan boxer Daniel Wanyonyi in a rematch that is highly anticipated to be held on March 18th at the Savo Ballroom at the Kenyatta International Conference Center, KICC, in Nairobi. Mandonga was due to fight Kenyan US-based boxer Raymond King Kong Ocheng, but the former needs to cut around 15 kgs before the contest, an improbable target in under a month. Kenya Professional Boxing Commission KPBC President Ruben Dolo has confirmed they have thus slotted a quick rematch for Mandonga and Wanyonyi.
Nilishakuahidi kwamba nampiga, ataka anapigwa, anataka anapigwa. Umeamini wewe? Ndio liweka uthibitisho huo kwa Kenya kwamba anataka anapigwa, ataki anapigwa. Hakuna bondia yote aliweza kuipromo biashara ngumi. Sasa narudi tena Kenya na kwenda Tanzania mwezi wa 4, narudi tena Nairobi na kuja sasa kumzika mtu chapu. Raundi ya kwanza kabla lake liko wapi? Mwekeni pale. Mandonga Mtukazi, nitakuja na ngumi nyinginewe, sio sugunyo tena.
And that is right there, Karim Mtukazi Mandonga. Of course, Kenyans refer to him as a mouthful boxer. He'll be taking on Wanyonyi in a rematch on the 18th month. Of course, we are looking forward to that particular rematch. We're taking a very short break, but don't go far away, because when we return back, we're talking matters to do with the state of the nation. 14 days ultimatum by the opposition to the state for them to lower food prices, return subsidies, and of course terminate the process of the committee that is now selecting IEBC commissioners and constitute a bipartisan, according to the opposition, and that is what they say should be done in 14 days. Is that possible? What does it mean for the state when the Azimio chief Raila Odinga says he will be forced to call for massive mass action? That and much more coming up shortly after this particular break. Don't go far away.
The Department of PCA Children Ministry Head Office has good news for you. Are you looking for a profession that does not disappoint? The place to be is at PCA Shalom ECDE College, offering a course for diploma in ECDE. Requirements are KCSE mean grade of C and above. You can also do upgrading from an ECDE certificate to a diploma, and the requirements are an ECDE certificate. Intake is currently ongoing, offering flexible modes of learning on e-learning or full-time. Enroll now and register for the 2023 class on our main campus at Zambezi Kikuyu along Nairobi Naivasha Road Lake Training Center. You can also apply online via the PCA Shalom ECDE online registration form. Shalom Academy and Junior Secondary School intake is ongoing. We have a one-year offer on zero tuition fee to all new grade 7 students. For more information, call the office on 0111 758 285 or 0113 107 958. You can get in touch with the director, Reverend Peters, on 0725 236 260. Send us an email, pcashalomdekte@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram too at PCA Shalom Dekte. Hostels and meals are available for the students in the same venue at a competitive price. You're welcome for a bright future career.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
We start a program that helps us to go on a journey to get to understand the ministers who are now retired, who spent most of their life in the pulpit and now are in the pew listening to others continue with the work of ministry.
I have retired from now employment, the formal employment, but I have not expired.
We get onto a journey to understand their experiences and the things that they have gone through, the journey of their lives that can be helpful to those of us that are still in active ministry. And we can tap from their wealth of experience so that we can know how to continue with the work of ministry.
Even the ministers we have today, I would like them to know there is today and tomorrow.
PCEA Enomatesiani Booth Boys High School is an ideal school for boys located in a quiet and serene environment, ideal for learning in Matasia, Kajiado County. The school works towards producing qualified students who become competent professionals in the society.
We offer a wide variety of subjects in our school. Our school is well equipped. We have a state-of-the-art library, a spacious boarding section, a modern kitchen, also Olympic-size swimming pool where our students go and have their swimming lessons.
The school focuses its effort not only in classroom learning, but we also provide learners with equal opportunities, that is to hone their abilities and talents. We have games like football, chess, volleyball, among others. The climate here is also favorable for all students.
PCEA Enomatesiani Booth Boys High School is open for January 2023 intake in Forms 1, 2 and 3.
Our school is founded on Christian value. We appeal for you to register, and we know we'll be able to mentor your boys through our Christian setup.
We are going to mold our boys in Christian values, and we are committed to do so at this time when the boy child must be taken care of.
For more information, get in touch via 0796 560000, 0796 560000. Email us pcea@gmail.com.
Greetings to all of you who watch Kirk TV programs. I send you Christian love and peace from all the Kirk family and the entire ministry. Since God gave us this Kirk TV, which is a very competent means of reaching people in and outside Kenya, Kirk TV is undoubtedly giving good and effective services to many people wherever our signal reaches. It is evident that God is at work through Kirk TV. We therefore need your loving support through your continuous prayers.
Alright, and welcome back to Kirk in the Morning. Remember, if you're joining us right now, we began this particular broadcast just some few minutes ago. We are streaming live on Facebook at Kirk TV Kenya and also on YouTube at Kirk TV Kenya. You can be part of this particular broadcast and give us your feedback, or rather weigh in on our conversation this morning. We are talking about the state of the nation. What are we expecting in the coming weeks? 14 days ultimatum given by the opposition to the state on some few issues that concern the country. Of course, reduction of taxes, reduction of food prices, as well as return of subsidy, and also a review, or rather a review on the constitution of that particular IBC committee that has been undertaking a process of identifying and bringing on board new IBC commissioners. What does that mean for the country, and what does it mean for President William Ruto, who was forced to come out and give his feedback in regards to that particular statement by the Azimio la Umoja coalition? But before we begin that particular broadcast, I will introduce my guest. We begin that particular discussion. I introduce my guest in studio this morning, Ezekiel Esanda. Good to see you once again this morning, and welcome to this particular broadcast, even as we talk matters to do the state of the nation.
Thank you very much. Thank you for hosting me, and I'm happy to be here again.
Of course, highlighting matters to do with what we're going to talk about. But I just wanted to take a listen in at what the Azimio chief talked about in regards to the 14 days ultimatum, so that we kickstart this particular conversation.
Withdrawal of subsidies to food and education in the middle of drought and famine was reckless and heartless. Consequently, the subsidies must be restored, the cost of basic commodities and taxes must come down in the next 14 days. Secondly, electoral deceit must end. Servers must be opened and audited, and under auspices of a reputable firm or organization, failure to which we shall lead the people to restore their authority and voice. 5, the ongoing process. Hello? 5, the ongoing process of reconstituting IBC must stop immediately. If these demands are not heeded, within 14 days, we shall lead Kenyans to massive action and to mass action across the country to take their power back and restore sanity.
To now turn around and pretend that servers to be open at this point in time is to take us for granted, is to believe that there are fools in Kenya. I want to tell our friends that the servers have always been open. They were open during the identification. They were open during the voting. They were open during the posting of the results. They were open during the tallying in Bomas. They were open when the results were announced. They were open when the matters went to court. The servers were open when the court determined the election. To now pretend and tell us about servers is an insult to our collective intelligence, is an insult to our democracy. And I will inform you that there is a big shortage of fools in Kenya.
Of course, Isanda, yes. You listening to what the Azimio chief Raila Odinga put out, 14 days ultimatum, and the tone that he put that particular statement and the tone that the president responds with. Is the president shaken by that 14 days ultimatum?
I think the president is an accountable leader, and he takes responsibility for leading this country. And he is a proactive leader who leads from the front. He's a general who leads from the front. He doesn't lead from the back. I don't think he's shaken. I think he's just debunking and refuting the misinformation that the opposition is trying to put across. The servers were indeed open. They are a public system that anybody can access. IEBC is a public organization and is an independent organization. Anybody can walk into IEBC and request for information regarding how the elections went. I don't think he's shaken. I think he's only trying to inform Kenyans of the truth. And the truth is that the servers are open. And he's also trying to tone down. You know, look at his demeanor. He's not. A shaken person would be trembling and angry. But you can see the president is quite composed. He's not spewing any anger, unlike the other side of the political divide.
But when you talk about spewing anger, but you would understand where the opposition is coming from, a rise in taxation, a rise in the price of commodities. You know, we were talking about earlier on a falling Kenyan shilling, yes. You know, and why it's necessary for the opposition to raise these concerns. And now they see, from what the Right Honorable Raila Odinga talked about, he said that we've been talking enough, we've not been heard, but we are giving you now a 14 days ultimatum. If you do not act on this and this and this, we are going to call for a massive mass action. Is it not at the interest of the Kenyan people as it looks like at this point?
I highly doubt that it is in the interest of Kenyans. I completely doubt that the opposition and the Right Honorable Prime Minister is trying to fight for the common mwananchi. I think it is the opposite. We know very well that if I was just to dig into the issues the way they are, we know the issues of subsidies and the famous 100 shillings unga that was given to us as an election token. And it was based on a subsidy. And you remember the fuel saga just before the elections. Again, it was also based on subsidies. And information came out that this money was ending up in the pockets of some few individuals, some oil companies, and also the millers who were given money, about thinking a tune of 7 billion. I do not think that that is the way to go. The era of quick fixes is long gone. the era of enriching the few and making the common Malanchi suffer more is long gone. We have to fix this country. We inherited a country that was completely dilapidated, and there are other shocks in the economy, as you mentioned, that the cost of living has gone up. There are other shocks, and you know very well Kenya is also being ravaged by very severe drought. There are no rains, and all these things have an effect on the living conditions of people. But also to take us back, you know, when the political temperatures rise, the shilling suffers, the investor confidence dips, and then inflation rises. And these are things that even the political class know very well. So putting the country in a perpetual campaign mode of mass action, of political rallies, instead of allowing us to sit down and talk, you know, come on the table, raise meetings, I think it is only making the country suffer more than it is benefiting. Calling mass action when people are hungry is not the best thing to do. The opposition should be telling us, giving us solutions and telling us, we suggest, this is the suggestion that we suggest, do ABCD, because for us, if we love this country, we can also be part of this administration. And these people from the opposition are very highly experienced. The Right Honorable Prime Minister has fought for this country, and he's an experienced politician. He has also run government. He knows that government is not run on the streets. Government is run on platforms, on ideology, in offices. You don't run the government through calling people for mass action, because mass action only raises temperatures. And if we should not forget the happenings of 2007 and how this country plunged into uncertainty. We do not want to go that direction of mass action. Let us converse. Let us talk to each other. Let us not talk at each other.
But if you look at the opposition and from where they are coming from, you look at an opposition that feels a government is isolating itself and making themselves look like an island. If you listen even to the statements made by the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, you understand where the opposition is coming from. Yes. Looks like the government has decided to take its own way, so it's about time we bring them to check. And if we are speaking and they do not hear, then we need to call for mass action. Yes. Just a quick question in regards to that. When you talk about you know, the opposition should give suggestion to the government on what they should do for them to better lives. For the opposition, they in their feeling, they say that at the moment and how things look, the only thing that can salvage Kenyans from the high cost of living, let's first return subsidy. And you talked about the subsidy, you know, going to the pockets of a few individuals at the end of the previous regime. But this is a new regime. What is so wrong if we get back the subsidies and the government makes sure that the subsidies help the Kenyan people?
The subsidies, of course, came from, we have a plug, we have a gap in the economy right now. And Kenya has to borrow domestically and also has to borrow internationally to be able to plug in the gap of the budget. Subsidies are good, but we call them short fixes. You cannot do a short fix to a perennial problem. And for subsidies for us to have discovered that subsidies went into the pockets of a few individuals, then it invokes some rethinking on how that should happen. The government is not refusing to pump in subsidies, but subsidies going to a few people's pockets is completely undoable. And most of the monies have been spent. I'm sure you know that we have spent money on bringing in the subsidized fertilizers. And if you go to the Kenya Cereal Board's outlets across the country, farmers are already benefiting from that. And such monies, which were not provided for in the last regime, those are the monies. We cannot spend the same money to give subsidies and at the same time prepare the country for the rains that are coming shortly. I think it is imperative even I think you have mentioned something about what the Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, said a few weeks ago about Kenya being a company and those who supported it being shareholders. I think people are taking it too far. People are taking it, people are making political angles that are not true. He meant that, of course, Kenya has a CEO. He metaphorically and used symbols to say that Kenya has a CEO and it has shareholders. Shareholders of this country are all the people of this country. They are not the confines of Kenya Kwanza. And therefore, again, we don't have confidence. You wouldn't want to, if somebody is calling for mass action. I hear the opposition saying that the current government is ostracizing and othering and discriminating against the opposition. That is not the case. If you're calling for mass action, you're telling people to go in the streets. How then can I sit down with you and tell you, we have these organizations here, please can you give us a few people to help us run it, when in the real sense you are the one rocking the ship. So we do not want that direction of discourse. We want a country where people are cohesive. And truth be told, the president has appointed people from across the board. Right now, the Interior Permanent Secretary comes from Nyanza. The ICT CS comes from Nyanza. If the president was ostracizing the so-called perceived opposition strongholds, he wouldn't have done that. So I think people are using this to settle political scores. And of course, they have to become relevant and remain relevant. And you ask them, because they have run out of options. Some of them are used to government and government powers. Some of them are used to the so-called handshake and mkatenusu. And that is not happening. So they have to, the kicks of a dying horse. But as a political analyst, what I'm encouraging our political class to do is to dialogue. Let us not raise temperatures, because when we raise temperatures, when it rains, it pours. And when there is drought, there is no drought for Kenya Kwanza, there is no drought for Azimio. Drought is drought. And when the shilling goes down, it goes down with everybody. When the price of unga goes up, it goes up with everybody. So there is no need of some political leaders saying that we want mass action, we want to push for this. It is not right. And then lastly, I think it is also imperative to note that, as I said last time, there are systems put in place. The 2010 Constitution was very clear. It set up systems. It says that the people have a right to demonstrate, and people have a right to picket, as long as they do it within the precincts of the law. But to say, when they have people in parliament, they have their own people in parliament, there are people in the Senate, there are people in all the institutions of government right now, and there are systems that have been put to place. There is public participation. There are all the systems that the Constitution has put to place in order to allow us to be able to move this country forward. But when we polarize the country, and as we did in 2007, and as we also tried to do in 2013 and 2017, it brings the country down, and it takes us even too much time to try to heal before we start growing the economy. We should be thinking about right now how to grow the economy into the 7 digits that we were talking about. And we can only do that together rather than doing it disjointed and fighting internally and externally.
Talking about that, I think you talked about the statement made by the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, but later on he retract back and tried to to clean the surface and try to make it look like it was a very great conversation. But this is what the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua said after making that remark, that Kenya is like a company and the shareholders are the people that supported the government. This is what he said afterwards.
I will serve the whole country in matters development. The other day we were in Siaya. Those people did not vote for us. We were in Homabay. They did not vote for us. We are working for the whole country because the people of Kenya pay taxes. But in forming our government, the president can only pick people who believe in him, who believe in his agenda, who believe in the bottom-up economic transformation agenda. There is no way he can pick you as a minister in his government when previously you are saying he is useless and he doesn't know what he is doing. And you are saying bottom-up economic agenda is not possible. How can he pick people who are saying his programs cannot work to come and assist him? That is what I said. And I said those people who understand William Ruto, who believe in him, who agree with his policies, are the ones who voted for him. So before he can pick others, he'll pick those ones first.
Right, and Isana, I don't know, my producer will be also trying to check on what Azimio la Umoja leaders talked about, and about this particular statement of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. But before we take a very short break, your reaction to that, what would be your reaction to that in regards to, you rise the temperatures, then the opposition rises the temperatures, then you cool down, and then the opposition doesn't cool down, says that the government is isolating the opposition. So what we can do is stand with the people and call for a mass action. Don't you see the remarks being made by a senior government official like the Deputy President is what is fueling the opposition to push for a certain agenda such as that of massive mass action?
I actually see a lot of humility. I see a lot of civility and decorum. I see in the Deputy President a leader who doesn't intentionally hurt people, and he did not. I think his statements were taken out of context. And yesterday, actually, there was something he said about there was a direct attack or advice, not even attack, on media about how things are taken out of context. My reaction to that as a political analyst is that he made a statement about Kenya being a company. It was taken in a very bad breath. Because people are already hurting and angry, and a hungry and angry person would throw tantrums left, right, center. So the opposition threw tantrums, and the tantrums, of course, as a leader of this country, he is the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya. He had to go back to the people and explain to the people of Kenya what he meant by the country being a company. And he came down. You can notice he toned down. And he said that he's the president of, he's the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya for everybody, and he has brought it down. And when somebody comes and they notice that they have maybe made a mistake, or what they said was taken out of context, and they come to you and tell you, hey, come on, sir, we said this, that was not the intention of that statement, and gives a clarification. I don't know why the opposition will be still throwing tantrums and still angry when he has completely said, come, let us reason together, this is what I've said. And he has demonstrated and said, and world over, whether it is in London, whether it is in South Africa, you can only appoint people who believe in your ideology. We had the 6,000 shillings benefits that Azimio was proposing in their campaign last time. In the contrary, Kenya Kwanza proposed the bottom-up economic model, and that's what we stood for. And therefore, if people, as the DP has said, the Honorable DP has said, if people don't believe in that model, then it is very difficult for that person to be put or be appointed in that office, because automatically day one, when they get in that office, they start flocking the sheep because they still do not believe in the government. And again, the opposition has said very clearly and many times that this government is an illegitimate government. So how then do we bring them together? We cannot say you don't believe in that government and still swear in and say, I believe in the president. But let us take a step back a little as leaders. I'm a leader. Let us take a step back and think. Our actions, our utterances, and how we portray ourselves. We don't want to chest stamp as Kenya Kwanza. We don't want Azimio to call for mass action. And how can you give a government ultimatums and say, I'm giving you 14 days to do ABCD. A failure to that, we will call for mass action. That is unsportsmanly. It is not the way leadership is run. Leadership is supposed to be consultative, open, criticize us openly, and let us accept the rebuke, and let us sit down and reason together.
But the cause for Azimio to call for mass action is because the thing that the opposition, which is very transparent and open to the public, is not being responded accordingly by the government. But before you respond to that, maybe we can listen into what the Azimio leaders brought up in that meeting that they had, as we take a short break and then we come back with your reaction in the same.
Serikali yao ni wao wenyewe yao wewe. Serikali ya Wakenya iko na inakuja.
This is a struggle like no other. Tunataka amani Kenya hii. Sisi si watu wafisadi. Sisi si watu wanaamini Kenya hii ni kampuni ya mtu.
Mko tayari kulipa gharama? Munataka tukubali maovu ya tawale? Mimi nasema kama Martha Karua, niko tayari kulipa gharama.
Kwa wiki mbili lazima ifanyike. Mimi naomba mujitokeze wote na mujitolee, ama namna gani? Muko tayari?
Right, and you've heard what the Azimio leaders have talked about, but I want you to hold on that. We take a very short commercial break, but when we get back, we'll be getting into that statement that has been raised by some of the Azimio leaders. So don't go far away. We're taking a very short commercial break. We'll be right back in a short while.
The Department of PCEA Children Ministry Head Office has good news for you. Are you looking for a profession that does not disappoint? The place to be is at PCEA Shalom ECDE College, offering a course for diploma in ECDE. Requirements are KCSE mean grade of C and above. You can also do upgrading from an ECDE certificate to a diploma, and the requirements are an ECDE certificate. Intake is currently ongoing, offering flexible modes of learning on e-learning or full-time. Enroll now and register for the 2023 class on our main campus at Zambezi Kikuyu along Nairobi Naivasha Road Lake Training Center. You can also apply online via the PCEA Shalom ECDE online registration form. Shalom Academy and Junior Secondary School intake is ongoing. We have a one-year offer on zero tuition fee to all new grade 7 students. For more information, call the office on 0111 758 285 or 0113 107 958. You can get in touch with the director, Reverend Peters, on 0725 236 260. Send us an email, pcashalomdekte@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram too at pcashalomdekte. Hostels and meals are available for the students in the same venue at a competitive price. You're welcome for a bright future career.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90 647.
We start a program that helps us to go on a journey to get to understand the ministers who are now retired, who spent most of their life in the pulpit and now are in the pew listening to others continue with the work of ministry.
I have retired from now employment, the formal employment, but I have not expired.
We get onto a journey to understand their experiences and the things that they have gone through, the journey of their lives,
that can be helpful to those of us that are still in active ministry. And we can tap from their wealth of experience so that we can know how to continue with the work of ministry.
Even the ministers we have today, I would like them to know there is today and tomorrow.
All right, welcome back as we continue with our discussion on the state of the nation. And I continue engaging Ezekiel Sanda, who is a political analyst. And just, getting back after this break, we were talking about the demands, or rather the ultimatum by the Azimio la Umoja coalition. But if you look at the president, and as even we were talking about when we were at this particular break, the president is a shaken person, and that the call for mass action should, make him at least to yield to one of the demands, or rather the demands in the ultimatum of the opposition, such as maybe, try and bring in a subsidy on some of the basic food commodities, at least yield in one of the demands.
Of course, all these things are political calculations. And in the past, we have noticed that we know the Right Honourable Prime Minister. We know what he's capable of. We know how it starts. It starts on the streets, and it ends somewhere with a deal. So I think from a political analysis, I think he is trying to corner the government into submission. He's trying to corner the presidency into some form of submission, and that won't work because the risk that if let's say, for example, Kenya Kwanza was to bulge into some of those demands, then definitely there's going to be a problem, a big problem, because he would say that we told them to bring, for example, subsidies. And look, now they have put in subsidies. Then they will say, oh, this government is a government that doesn't know what it's doing. A government is supposed to have a plan. And the government has a plan. There was a plan, there was a campaign mechanism. There was a document called the plan, which was the manifesto of Kenya Kwanza to the people, that helped them to be elected into government and to form government. That is what the document, those ideas in the documents were presented to the people, and Kenya Kwanza went around the country and signed charters, if you can remember, with the youth, with the women, with persons with disabilities. It signed charters with the economic class, the public sector, the private sector. So I think the government should be allowed. This is a very young government. It's it's an infant government. Calls for mass action less than 4 or 5 months after an election is completely putting the country on its knees, because we are going to be perpetually in an election and an electioneering mode. We will not have enough time to work, because this is the time to work. And we say that if the subsidies, for example, were to be brought in, there are short fixes for long-term issues. I think you agree with me that it's supposed to be sustainable. Let us have sustainable ideas and solutions to the things that belabor Kenyans, instead of having to bring in little by little, because that leads into tokenism. People become confined and dependent on tokens. This is not a manner government. This is where a government that works for the people, and it goes down to work for people. I think that's the best way to do it, instead of having to say, oh, let us push into subsidies. I will go to the second issue of saying that the process of recruiting IBC officials stop forthwith. Azimio doesn't give reasons why that process should stop. It is a constitutional process. it is enshrined in the Constitution of Kenya, unless that then there's me saying that we shall not be respecting the law and the rule of law, because that is a process that was enshrined by the law. And they have been allowed to bring in their nominees to those panels. And those panels have been open. It is done openly. It has been in the dailies. The process is very clear. I remember, if I was to take you back, it is the Right Honorable Prime Minister who was pushing for Chebukati last time, and you saw how it ended. The same honorable gentleman is now calling Chebukati a traitor. So that's the kind of politics we are trying to run against.
And when you talk about some of the opposition demands, being imperative, especially when they talk about stopping the process of reconstituting an IBC, one of the issues they raise is that they say the committee that has been constituted for finding, or rather selecting IBC commissioner is partisan, is pro-government, and they say that there's an arrangement for another rigging of 2027 election, according to them, because they believe that as well the 2022 general elections were rigged. What do you make of the concern that they raise that we need to constitute a bipartisan committee that is supposed to lead in matters to do with election of IBC commissioners?
I think it's as I said, it's an open process. It is open to the public. When you say that you have issues with the selection panel and saying that the selection panel is partisan, I mean, you don't stop the process. You don't say stop the process, because nobody, even the president, has power to stop the process of a selection of new IBC commissioners. And if the president were to do that, again, they will say that this president is usurping powers. Those are not powers enshrined in the Constitution. I think it is completely misleading. We shouldn't go that direction. The selection panel, if they have issues with specific individuals in that selection panel, it should be brought to the attention of IEBC and brought to the attention of the institutions that have been mandated by law to receive such grievances. And I think Azimio has a right to bring this thing to the fore, but not on the streets and ultimatum. You cannot be the lawyer, you be the accused, and you are the judge. So by saying that the process must stop, I mean, where do they get the powers to say that the process must stop? It is a constitutional process. It should be allowed to continue. And if it is stopped by any individual without due process, then that is usurping powers, that is disrespecting the law, that is not protecting the Constitution. And remember, the president and the presidency, they swore to protect this Constitution. And what we are seeing as we are doing is completely hurting, and it's going to hurt the country, it's going to hurt the Constitution, and we do not want that direction. We know these are the last kicks and the crossfires of the failed BBI process. And because that did not happen, then that's what is coming to the fore. And there's this element, I think Honorable Martha Karua raised it, the issue of winner takes it all. The president has been very clear, and he said, let us put more resources, let us make the opposition an institution, like we have those models in the UK and the US, so that they have institutions in place to check and criticize government. I do not think in the Constitution there is the issue of saying, oh, go to the streets and instigate mass action for us to act. No, the Kenya Kwanza government listens. So if a person listens and they feel like they have not listened, let them come to us. We will listen to them. They will be listened to, but through the rule of law. We know they are used to the jungle. We know also that the president can also be a soldier in the jungle, but right now he is confined. He is the president of the country of Kenya. Right now he cannot just go on the street and say, okay, bring it on. He is a unifying factor. He is a unifying symbol of this country called Kenya. There are things he cannot do. And I think he might also be tempted. He might be tempted to say, oh, I have generals. Let my generals go and fight. We do not want to have that situation where the generals are going to fight for the president. And that's why he's coming in quite early. When there's misinformation out there, he doesn't take 15 minutes. He responds and says, this is what happened. If you say that the servers should be open now, the servers for information have always been open. So go to IEBC, the servers are open. I think that is the way a leader is supposed to respond and act, not using the police. Because when we go that mass action direction, and then public property is destroyed and peace is breached, then definitely the Kindiki boys will come, will get on the streets, and we not want to see a government, a Kenya where we are going back to the 2007 skirmishes. I think that is going to hurt the country. We shouldn't go that direction of mass action.
But if you listen to what the Azimio Chief Raila Odinga talks about, it's saying that the issue of mass action does not involve violence, but they will be calling on people for peaceful demonstration. Even from his statement, he was angrily responding to allegations that they are planning for violent demonstration and all that. And he talked about in the United States of America, protesters already protest before, rather in front of the White House. In the United Kingdom, they protest in the before the House of Commons and all that. Why is it so different that when it comes to the opposition calling for mass action, then it becomes associated with violence?
I think from the beginning we should go back to the notes and say, why are we calling for mass action? Why are a section of Azimio calling for mass action? They are calling for mass action because they believe, they believe that they have not been heard. They believe that, but we are saying, Kenya Kwanza is saying, the table is open, the door is open, the chairs are empty, come sit down and let us reason together. And in case you want to do mass action, I think the Constitution is also very clear. Every Kenyan has a right to protest, they have a right to picket. Nobody has said, and the president has not said that people should not go for mass action. I have only said that I think that is not called for at the moment because it places the country into an electioneering mood. We have been, for the last 2 years, been in an election mood, and it has been, emotions have been high. People have taken sides. It is time to heal the country. It is time to heal the rifts and our differences, so that we have an opportunity to also work for this lovely country called Kenya. Secondly, I think when they call for mass action, we do not want to see a scenario where you say we are going to protest very peacefully, and we know it. The world over, we have seen it. We say you got the police and get the permit to picket and protest, and then what has happened in the past? I mean, once bitten, twice shy. The protests are normally called for, and they say we shall be very peaceful. But when you have 1 million people descending on a street, rendering roads impassable, now they are also even showing elements they are not even symbols of unity. When you take a sufuria and a spoon and start beating it, I am a Luya, and where I come from, that is actually a curse. When somebody has messed up and you pick up, we call it nyababa in my language, and you are knocking a sufuria, it means that you are pissed off, you are not happy with the way the government is being run. That is violence. That is already a sign that those protests are not going to be peaceful. They are not going to be peaceful processions. They are going to be stuff that is going to bring this country down. And when tear gas is unleashed on people, they will say, "Oh, look now, the police are now clobbering the people, and they are now blocking our right to protest." I think, as I said from the beginning, it's a very, very calculated move to corner the government into accepting their demands. And the ultimate goal, from an analyst's point of view, is to push the current administration into some form of arrangement And the president has been very clear that there will be no nusumkate or handshake. There's going to be an opposition that is going to check the government, and there's going to be a government. And that's how it works.
And also the opposition has said that they're not even interested in either of the handshake or any form of affiliation to show that they are doing what happened with President Uhuru Kenyatta and Right Honorable Raila Odinga.
Yeah.
But all that aside, if you look at the circumstances and situations leading to the opposition call for mass action, or rather the opposition issuing of ultimatum, he draws back to what the Kenya Kwanza promised Kenyans during their campaigns, that when we get into office in 3 months' time, in 4 months' time, in 5 months' time, in 2 months' time, in 1 month's time, when I put the Bible down, immediately,
cost of living will come
and
down.
all that, and all that. The opposition counts to 7 months, and they look back and say, "This is what you promised Kenyans. You have not done any of that." We need to bring Kenyans and show them that indeed you did not do what you promised them. And the backdrop of that is the opposition is building on what the Kenya Kwanza promised during their campaigns. Is the president, does that not shake the president that he promised Kenyans something and he must deliver?
Yes, he has to deliver. There's no otherwise. If you promised, and as I said earlier, there was a plan, the so-called plan. The Kenya Kwanza manifesto was a plan, and in that plan there were academic proposals, there were agricultural proposals, there were economic proposals, and from where I sit, he has no other wise but to deliver. But if I look at the scorecard for the last, we saw the ministers a few days ago giving account of their first 100 days in power and in the offices. I think to say that those things have not been done will not be true. Those things have been done. We know that the Hustler Fund has taken shape. Now they are working towards increasing the limits. I am a beneficiary of the Hustler Fund, and I can tell you that happened. You know very well that the subsidized fertilizers are already in the NCPB stores. That has been done. The president issued some executive orders to stop, the cattle rustling and the things to try and stabilize the country on matter security. I think these things have been done. What has not been done is that this government has not been given a chance to be allowed to do their work, because from the first day the opposition said we do not accept, even after going to the Supreme Court with truckloads of documents which were photocopies of some purported evidence. The Supreme Court seized the matter and said that the current president was legitimately elected, and from the first day they say that they do not believe in this country, in this government, and because of that they have been putting pressure to make sure that this government does not have time to deliver to the mandate to the people. And that's why I say it is calculated, so that we will rise the temperatures and make sure that they have no time to even move a spoon or move a glass, and then we'll come back after 100 days and say, you promised ABCD, you did not deliver, therefore you must go home. And then now they're calling people, and if you notice from the clips, they are very calculative. They say, we are asking you to come out, because if you believe in democracy, come out in large numbers so that we can take this government home. The fact is that the election happened. We have to put the election behind us. We have institutions in place to protest and to fight for whatever we want to fight, but to get us back into that corner of let's say have mass action, let us bring this government down. The ultimate goal, and I will repeat it, the ultimate goal from an analysis point of view is to push the current government into surrender. And the president has been very clear that when you are a man on a mission, you have no time to surrender, and you have no time to quit. You focus on the goal, and that's what the president is focusing on. And I think if he's given time, he's given a chance, he will bring these issues to the fore and solve them. On the price of unga, he has said, we are not going to do quick fixes. Unga happens, it is grown from the farm, and it doesn't take, you don't put a seed today in the evening and then in the morning wake up and say you want to harvest. He has promised that the price of unga is already coming down, and he has promised that in a few weeks and months going down, and after we get the rains, the economy and the prices of common commodities will come down. And I think allowing this government to do its work, and also checking it and criticizing it positively, because there's something we call in English considerable positive regard, believing that this glass is half full rather than think of this glass being half empty. I think if the opposition really were for the people of Kenya, they would allow dialogue and constructive criticism rather than calling for mass action, because we are not a banana state, as you know.
And even as we talk about that, as we also come to the conclusion of this particular discussion, my last question would be, we're talking about a situation where there has been an ultimatum that has been issued in regards to certain issues.
Yes.
Now, what happens if the ultimatum is not executed by the government? Say the state does not respond to any of the issues raised, and then we move to now away from the ultimatum to a mass action. And the mass action, of course, when you know very well, and you also talked about, when the Azimio chief calls for mass action, of course, definitely something that is going to happen. What happens when we get there?
I would say that I think the threat and the ultimatum is I will look at it as blackmail. The opposition wants to blackmail and push the country into a corner, push the administration into a corner. But I do not see and we shall be here also analyzing when Azimio is finally on the streets. I can tell you for free that we should not run a government and a country on threats and ultimatums. Even in a house, when you are married, you don't run on threats, you run on dialogue. And I'll give you a model of my good friend, the governor of Nairobi, Johnson Sakaja. He has tried to bring the warring sides of the political divide together. And he has said many times that he will work across. He will work with Azimio, he will work with UDA, he will work with Kenya Kwanza. From a political analyst point of view, I think that's a model we can embrace as Kenya Kwanza. We can open the door for dialogue, and we should also respect the institutions that have been placed, that have been put in place, rather than having to push for chest stamping. Because we notice that when these people say that they would call for mass action, and we definitely are quiet, or the Kenya Kwanza government is quiet for that foreseeable period of time, then definitely they'll go on the streets. Then we'll see destruction of properties. Then you will see fatalities. People die, people get maimed, and we not want to see that kind of thing. So if it does happen, I encourage the Kenya Kwanza government to hold its horses. They have the power. They are the ones in power. They are the ones in power. Let them hold the horses. Let them push, as Sakaja has been doing. Let them push for dialogue. Let them push for constructive conversations and discourse, rather than having to say when Azimio goes to the streets, we will look at them. We will not want to throw stones, but definitely when property is destroyed and people are injured and the protesters are not becoming civil, because you said, you gave us an example of the United Kingdom and the US. These protesters are normally very peaceful. They will not destroy property. But look at the protester on the streets of Nairobi. They will come and walk into a supermarket and take some money. I mean, take TVs from that is not protesting. So if it is done within the law, it will be allowed. We shall allow the protests to go on. But as Ezekiel Isanda, I am pushing for dialogue so that we don't plunge this country in turmoil again. Yes.
Of course, and hopefully the dialogue will not be an handshake, because that is what seems
definitely
to be dialogue.
Yes. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ezekiel Isanda, for making time this morning for us to have this particular conversation, and also for making time this morning to be on this particular broadcast.
Thank you.
And that is where we wind up this particular conversation. Of course, we've been talking about the state of the nation. 14 days ultimatum by the opposition to the state. What happens if the 14 days lapse and the government does not respond to any of the issues that have been raised by the opposition? We are taking a very short commercial break, but don't go far away, because when we return, the program continues with our entertainment section. I'm told our guest artist is already in our premises, so don't go far away. Stay with us. Remember, we're also streaming live on Facebook and YouTube at Kirk TV Kenya.
PCEA Enomatesiani Booth Boys High School is an ideal school for boys located in a quiet and serene environment, ideal for learning in Matasia, Kajiado County. The school works towards producing qualified students who become competent professionals in the society.
We offer a wide variety of subjects in our school. Our school is well equipped. We have a state-of-the-art library, a spacious boarding section, a modern kitchen, also Olympic-sized swimming pool where our students go and have their swimming lessons.
The school focuses its effort not only in classroom learning, but we also provide learners with equal opportunities, that is to hone their abilities and talents. We have games like football, chess, volleyball.
The Department of PCEA Children Ministry Head Office has good news for you. Are you looking for a profession that does not disappoint? The place to be is at PCEA Shalom ECDE College, offering a course for diploma in ECDE. Requirements are KCSE mean grade of C and above. You can also do upgrading from an ECDE certificate to a diploma, and the requirements are an ECDE certificate. Intake is currently ongoing, offering flexible modes of learning on e-learning or full-time. Enroll now and register for the 2023 class on our main campus at Zambezi Kikuyu along Nairobi Naivasha Road Lake Training Center. You can also apply online via the PCEA Shalom ECDE online registration form. Shalom Academy and Junior Secondary School intake is ongoing. We have a one-year offer on zero tuition fee to all new grade 7 students. For more information, call the office on 0111 758 285 or 0113 107 958. You can get in touch with the director, Reverend Peters, on 0725 236 260. Send us an email, pcashalomdekte@gmail.com. Find us on Facebook and Instagram too at PCA Shalom Dekte. Hostels and meals are available for the students in the same venue at a competitive price. You're welcome for a bright future career.
Are you looking to grow your business? Kirk TV offers you a variety of advertising opportunities to suit your budget. Advertise with us today and reach your potential customers countrywide. For more information, email us on sales@kirktv.org or call 011 00 90647.
We start a program that helps us to go on a journey to get to understand the ministers who are now retired, who spent most of their life in the pulpit and now are in the pew listening to others continue with the work of ministry.
I have retired from now employment, the formal employment, but I have not expired.
We get onto a journey to understand the experiences and the things that they have gone through, the journey of their lives that can be helpful to those of us that are still in active ministry. And we can tap from their wealth of experience so that we can know how to continue with the work of ministry.
Even the ministers we have today, I would like them to know there is today and tomorrow.
PCEA Enomatesiani Booth Boys High School is an ideal school for boys located in a quiet and serene environment, ideal for learning in Matasia, Kajiado County. The school works towards producing qualified students who become competent professionals in the society.
We offer a wide variety of subjects in our school. Our school is well equipped. We have a state-of-the-art library, a spacious boarding section, a modern kitchen, also Olympic-sized swimming pool where our students go and have their swimming lessons.
The school focuses its effort not only in classroom learning, but we also provide learners with equal opportunities, that is to hone their abilities and talents. We have games like football, chess, volleyball, among others. The climate here is also favorable for all students.
PCEA Enomatesiani Booth Boys High School is open for January 2023 intake in Forms 1, 2 and 3.
Our school is founded on Christian value. We appeal for you to register, and we know we'll be able to mentor your boys through our Christian setup.
We are going to put our boys in Christian values, and we are committed to do so at this time when the boy child must be taken care of.
For more information, get in touch via 0796 560000, 0796 560000. Email us pcea@enoboothboys@gmail.com.
Greetings to all of you who watch Kirk TV programs. I send you Christian love and peace from all the Kirk family and the entire ministry.
Oliver Music, Hype Nolan,
Sean on the bed.
Nasema zidi kuni bless, baraka zizidi kushuka, ndio maana kama sai mimi naruka, sema Sean finya pose, na favor izidi kushuka, nifungue hata na kaduka, sema zidi kuni bless, baraka zizidi kushuka, ndio maana kama sai mimi naruka, sema Sean finya pose, na favor izidi kushuka, nifungue hata na kaduka. Step, bend down, pose. Kama Daudi alikatika, nguo zikamwagika, sifa zikapanda, baraka ikashuka. Kama Daudi alikatika, nguo zikamwagika, sifa zikapanda, baraka ikashuka. Wako tunataka, mziki pia twazakata, rehema na nehema baba, upendo wako tunataka, mziki pia twazakata, rehema na nehema baba. Ya mpura ninakuja na maubaya, finya pose, devo itabidi amegwaya. Ninatangaza injili kama stima kwa mawaya, ndiyo maana mina hapa nitasifungu Mesaya. Umenipa uhai, majumba na mandai, ndiyo maana leo hii nitamwita El Shaddai. Bend down, pose. Kama Daudi alikatika, nguo zikamwagika, sifa zikapanda, baraka ikashuka. Kama Daudi alikatika, nguo zikamwagika, sifa zikapanda, baraka ikashuka.
Wako tunataka mziki pia twasakata, rehema na nehema baba, upendo wako tunataka mziki pia twasakata, rehema na nehema baba.
Oliver Music.
Ndio mimi huyu.
Karibu sana.
Nashukuru sana.
Tuanze tu hapo kwa hiyo ngoma
Bless me.
Unapiga ngoma mtindo gani?
Mimi.
Tunasikiza ngoma zako na
kadanso kidogo, ka afro kidogo, kabanga. Mimi nafanya, mimi ni versatile. Mimi naweza fanya kila genre ya music, whether ni hip hop, but sasa napenda banga na dancehall kidogo.
But za gospel.
Ni gospel, mimi niko strictly kwa injili.
Tuanzie hapo kwa injili. Music kijani yako ilianzia wapi? Na kwa mtu mwenye anakuangalia sasa hivi introduce Oliver Music ni nani? Na tuanze tu na music yako, safari yako ya muziki ilianzia wapi? Where did your journey start from?
Ilianza kwanza sikujua hata nitakuwa msanii siku moja. Mimi nilikuwa primary, ilianza primary, tulikuwa tu kwa shule na mimi nilianza kama dancer because sasa tulichaguliwa among the people wana represent shule kwa modern dance. So tukaanza kudance, tukafanya hizo vitu, tukafika national levels, tukamaliza primary, sasa hiyo period ya kukaa home tukingoja kujoin high school, ndio tukaform a group. Wale tu wase tulikuwa huko, tukatoka nje tena tukaform a group ya dance na tukaanza kudance. So tukaanza kudance, tunadance ya wasanii, tukienda events, tukaanza kuinteract. So mimi hapo pia tukaanza wasanii wakiimba ma freestyle, pia mimi na try naona hii kitu ni fun, acha pia ni try. Hapo ndo nikaanza kutry, nika record my first song, nika form to Uganda, unajua kwetu ni kwa border kwa Busia huko. So nika record nikiwa form 2, but sasa hiyo ngoma ilikuwa mbovu jo. Quality ilikuwa
gani sasa?
Ilikuwa mimi ni mtu wa juzi bwana. Unajua naweza sema mwaka nilikuwa form 2 watu wasema kijana.
Mwaka sasa ulianza muziki yani?
Ilikuwa 2017.
Yeah.
So hapo ndo nikaanza na ikakuwa na ups and downs. Na tunashukuru Mungu tuko hapa leo.
Umesema ngoma kwanza ilikuwa mbovu.
Ilikuwa mbovu.
Hiyo ngoma ulikuwa umeimba nini?
Ilikuwa deadly, content ilikuwa deadly, ilikuwa inaitwa Sir God. Content ilikuwa deadly, but sasa quality ilikuwa down mbaya sana.
Quality
ya audio. Sikushoot hadi ya video because haikuwa imefika hata 1 MB. Ukisikia ngoma haijafika 1 MB, hiyo hata ingi kwa social media imekata. Ndio try ku upload mdundo ikakata. So ukisikia imekata kwa uploadiwa mdundo, jua kwa
shida ilikuwa wapi? Wewe ulienda kwa producer?
I think the producer Chief.
Dhao moja.
Na unajua ni Uganda. So mimi nitoka huko na punch yangu, ikifika Uganda nimemultiply, niko na mathao mimi huko almost ndo millionaire. So kufika huko nikapewa kitu yangu. But sikuchoka.
Na hiyo ngoma ukatupa kabisa.
Mpaka leo sinanga.
Na kama content ilikuwa kali, sinafaa urudie tena hiyo ngoma.
Mtadu.
Then after hiyo ngoma ukatoa ngoma gani nyingine
sasa? So nikafuata, nikatoa ngoma inaitwa Asante. Pia hiyo audio yake iko basi kushoot video. So after nimefanya hiyo Asante, nikaipush kidogo ka audio tu kwenda kuperform places, na ikakuwa tu sijui naweza sema ni God because nilienda pia media tour kwingine na nikapata msaka akaniambia like unaweza imba fiti, do this, ndio connect na msaka, can connect na Mshamba Zebedayo. So Mshamba wakani link up na certain studio ya Bungoma, nikafanya audio, nikafanya video, na hapo ndio muziki sasa ikafumuka.
So Asante ndio ilikuwa ngoma yako ya pili after
ngoma ya pili, ndio sasa nikatoka nikafanya ngoma inaitwa Niko Fiti.
Niko Fiti. Tell us about hiyo Niko Fiti. Unajua mtu anaweza kuwa nasikia Niko Fiti. Kuna watu wako fiti, tuna vitu tofauti.
Niko Fiti na gospel aje.
Uko fiti na nini? Hiyo ngoma uko fiti na nini?
Niko fiti kwa God. Yaani niko strictly tu niko fiti kwa God, like wase hiyo song ilikuwa like mimi nimeokoka. Lakini sasa wase wamen surround maybe unajua tuko kwa different groups. Sasa nasema like Oliver ameokoka na sasa ameokoka. Unajua wanachukuanga ile perspective like wewe kama umeokoka leo, wewe si mjanja. Unajua ile ujanja, uvuti ngwai, wewe si mtu sherehe like wewe ujui mambo, ujui stories za world. But sasa nikakuja ku notice like hata sisi tuko poa. As long as sisi tunang'ara, sisi tunavaa, sisi pia sisi tunaweka style zetu. Sisi tuko sawa na Christ wetu. Wewe ukipiga sherehe yako hata sisi pia tuko na sherehe yetu. Sisi tunachoma nyama tunakula. Kula kitu tunakula.
Hata mimi nataka kusikia niko fit. Sijui tupige tu niko fit kidogo.
Naweza piga.
Piga ndio tusikie pia.
Wanadai lazima wavute sigara na pombe ndio wasikie wako fiti. Na mimi ninasema Biblia kitabu imara na mimi niko fiti. Hajasi wana unasikia? Sasa kwanza kufikia hapo ushapata message. Au kula ile tunakula.
Wanadai lazima wavute sigara na pombe ndo wasikie wako fiti. Na mimi ninasema Biblia kitabu imara na mimi niko fiti. I just wanna represent to the fullest, number one Lord, forever to the goodness. Maisha bila Yesu Josi bure, itabidi uwe mgumu kama mti wa mvule. Watabaki wamebleki, eti mashida ndogo ndogo kubwa kubwa za wavamia. Na mimi nasideki, eti kwa Yesu ni ndani ndani nimezamia. Watabaki wamebleki, eti mashida ndogo ndogo kubwa kubwa za wavamia. Na mimi nasideki, eti kwa Yesu ni ndani ndani. Kwa Yesu niko fiti, 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 mikono juu. Kwa Yesu niko fiti, 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 ni Yesu tu. Kwa Yesu niko fiti, 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 mikono juu. Kwa Yesu niko fiti, 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 ni Yesu tu. Wanadai ninapiga makelele, hawajui ni kelele takatifu. Wanadai ninaongea mengi, hawajui ni kwa ndimi ninanena. Kwanza Oliver nimebarikiwa na ni Yesu alinimwagia. Sina nia na kwake nina njia, kwa Yesu ni ndani ndio ninaingia. Najua mbinguni already nishakuwa mwema, ndo maana ninaimba ngoma kama za Alemba. Devil leo mimi nimeamua kukulenga, ndogo ndogo kubwa kwa yule ananipenda. Najua mbinguni already nishakuwa mwema, ndo maana ninaimba ngoma kama za Alemba. Devil leo mimi nimeamua kukulenga, ndogo ndogo kubwa kwa yule ananipenda. Kwa Yesu niko fiti, 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 mikono juu. Kwa Yesu niko fiti, 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 ni Yesu tu. Kwa Yesu niko fiti, 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 mikono juu. Kwa Yesu niko fiti, 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 ni Yesu tu.
Yes. Unasikia sasa? Ni simple tu. Na unakumbuka hiyo ni content niliandika nikiwa shule.
Hiyo time
nilikuwa high school, nilikuwa form 2, ndio nimeingia form 2. Na baadaye after nafanya ngoma nikaacha shule.
Mbona ukaacha shule?
Bana mimi nilikuja nikakuwa star.
Kama kalikuchocha.
Kalinichocha mbaya sana. Yaani umekaa hivi unaambiwa tu tumekuona unachezwa mahali. So pia ikanipatia ile like sasa mimi sidisavu hata kitabu tena.
Ukaacha shule.
Nikaacha kidato nikakuja Nairobi. Nikakuja kupiga mashughuli. So kufika huku pia nikakaa. Maisha ni nani? Ilibidi tu nimerudi. Juu mimi nilikuwa mdogo. Hiyo time nilikuwa mdogo. Achana na urefu. Hiyo nilikuwa mdogo, yani hata mimi mwenyewe nilikuwa najiona like mimi bado.
Sasa after umeacha shule na ukakuja Nairobi, ulikaa how long before ulitena shule?
Like for one term, nilikaa huko one term. Ndio nikarudi shule. Yaani wasetu hadi producer mwenye alienda kurekodi kwake aliniambia like umemaliza shule? Nikamwambia hapana. Akaniambia umechukua break ama umeacha? Nikamwambia mimi si feel shule. Akaniambia fanya hivi, hata hii muziki tena tu record leo. Fanya hivyo, rudi tu shule. Ukimaliza wewe rudi sasa, mimi ndakurekodia hata freestyle tena do. Unasikia? So yani amekubali sasa. Wewe rudi tu shule na nilikuwa namlipa, ndio wewe rudi shule maliza. Ukimaliza tu utakao. Mimi ndakupatia sasa for free. Na ikafika tu mahali pia nikajiconvince. Alafu brother yangu alikuwa ananiambia like sasa wewe familia mzima imesoma, ngangana tu malize form 4. Achana na hiyo.
Anga malize.
Usiharibie familia jina. Try tu pia ukwetu like umemaliza form 4. So pia can encourage, but after sin nimerudi nikafeel like kumbe nilikuwa na deserve hiki tu.
Because ile music zako ulianza zenye umeandika na ukarekodi uliziandika uko high school ama baada ya high school sasa ndio ulianza ku take music seriously na ukaanza kuandika ngoma sasa zina relate na current time?
Mimi naweza sema most pia niliandika zenye sija release, maybe ndio niliandika juzi, but mostly nimezi-release zote niliandika nikiwa shule. Because mimi nilikuwa nimechukulia music serious kutoka tu nikiwa shule. Si ati before, mimi nilikuwa tu nimezichukulia kutoka shule.
Wewe kama mwanamuziki, of course, uko msee young, music yako ukiimba ama ukiandika music yako, unakuwa ukitarget kina nani wasikize music yako? Yani ukiandika message yako unakuwa ukitaka yani ifikie watu akina nani sasa?
Unajua hata ukitupia mimi juzi niliuliza hiyo kitu kwa status yangu tu online, nikauliza like wasanii sisi tunaimbanga tuna targeting na ndio unapata unauliza msee like umeimbia nani, anasema mimi nimeimbia specific vijana. But mimi naweza sema siimbi mostly like kwa vijana, because idambi si ati ni kwa vijana. Ama hii kitu si ati ni vijana wanadu kila kitu, hata wazae wana scene, hadi watoi wana scene. But sasa ni ile kuna venye unaangalianga generation unaweza get in touch na haraka. Mimi najua kijana kumpreachia hautampatia ngoma za Munishi asikize. Hata sikiza mimi sidhani, utaenda tu CBD upatane na Chokosh pale umwambie sikiza Munishi. But the moment utavibe naye umwambie aniaje manze chukua ngumi mbwekse na umpatie word na share, hata feel like umset tunaweza vibe naye hata despite anafanya hii gospel. Tunaweza vibe naye. So after sometimes utapata msana transform, anaanza kuingia kwa lane yako. Na unapata tu hiyo music hiyo shenge umeimba anabambika nayo. Kama juzi ngoma ya Jabdi inaitwa Weka Tik, kila msee aliimba, kila msee alidance TikTok, sio ni gospel. Mwenye sasa unajua after mingi amesikiza hiyo song amedance ndio anakuja ku notice kumbe ni gospel, na after hapo si
hiyo misconception inakuwaga before tungile pia no wahala kwa sababu hiyo ngoma yako hiyo. Hiyo misconception inyiko kwamba gospel music inafaa kuwa a certain tone na certain tune, but ukimba in a certain tune kama tuseme for example unaimba in a dance way, misconception ni ati hapana
hiyo si gospel, hiyo mdundo hapana.
Maybe kuna mtu mahali ana feel hivyo. Wewe unaweza semaje kuhusu hiyo story?
Mimi naweza sema tu ni generation imechange. Yani vitu tu haziwezi wakave tulikuwa tunawaka 2010. Kuna vitu hata yenye tulifanya 2020 happen saa hii. So generation tu imechange. Alafu pia mapasio imebidi wametukubali, because wanaangalia vijana like kama kitambo aungeingia church maybe na ragged unacheki, ama na nywele like umedai umefanya nini, but unacheki sahi hata ukienda hapo church ni kitu iko accepted, like ni a few churches sana ndo zinaweza kurebel. But yani ni generation tu, mimi naweza sema ni generation imechange na time change. Kila kitu pia inakuja na time yake. So venye wase walikuwa na kitambo si sasa.
The importance ni message inatumwa despite the circumstances.
Unajua tunaweza tuma tao moja kwa lori na pia the same tao moja kwa simu. So bora hiyo tao moja imefika, as long as mimi nataka si umenilipa, umenipatia hiyo tao. Mimi sitaki kujua ilikuja na ndege, sitaki kujua ile, bora imekaa.
Bora imekufikia. Tao moja.
Imefika hiyo tao, bora imefika.
Sawa. Tuongelee no
hala. No hala inamaanisha tu no problems, hatuna noma kwa Christ. Wase wasifikirie tu sisi tuko na manoma. Wase wafikirie tu like kwa gospel pia kuna nini, like sisi tuko tu sawa. Mimi husema tu hiki kitu tunatakanga tu ni kujivunia tuko kwa Christ. Mimi tu ndio kutumia kujivunia sana, like niko sawa kwa Christ, hata mseme nini. Kwa God hatuna manoma. Hatuna mashida bwana. Kuna mashida zingine wase wa world wako nao, but ni ile hawashei. Ama pia wewe ni one of the members na nataja sisi. So unaweza pata mse wa world wako na noma, but like sasa kuna ile perspective that gospel haina do. Unacheki gospel haina do, kwa world ndio kuna do. But sasa unapata kama mimi interact na wasanii wa secular, anakuambia bro, hata ukituangalia sisi huko chati tunafurahia.
Yaani wewe Sunday unaweza pewa kabasha.
Si wase wanapewa kabasha. Ina depends sasa umeenda huko kani. Pia usi expect bahasha tu. Unajua pia ni ministry. Na pia before nikuje, for example wewe ni pastor, nikuje church yako understand Oliver amerecord music na do. Unaona? Oliver maybe aliita hata msao kumvalisha na cover kwa video, ama hata ni job yake. Unacheki jua wasanii mostly wanateseka jua wana majob, wanategemea music. Na unapata maybe anakuja church. Hiyo pia ni way of preaching. Unajua pastor anatakanga yake na church nyingine ana preach, maybe atapewa bahasha. Msanii akikuja atuwe amekuja kutu entertain, ana preach. Kuna msee amekata tamaa hapo, ukimuimbia hiyo song yako maybe nitamjenga. Hiyo ni kupreach. na umetenga time yako, hiyo ni job yako. But sasa ni ile saa ile kazi ya Mungu hatu tusi take for granted.
Cha tusikize Noah Hale, sio twende kazi.
Oliver music again, ule kijana ya mkura, yote yalisha Goligota, na kama nimekubamba Buda Gota, yote yalisha Goligota, watame kama nimekubamba Buda Gota. No wahala, kuja kwake Yesu no wahala, no wahala, hakuna noma no wahala, no wahala, kuja kwake Yesu no wahala, no wahala, hakuna noma no wahala. Mziki tuna vibe kwa damu Yesu tuna dive, hakuna tukungangana na kwamba tuna strive. Yesu ndiye dere dunia na dive, na hata tukichoka bado anatupa sight. Katupa ubiri wazuri kama samoka, baraka zake mbili yani double cut. Kanisa mimi na hubiri kama Anglican, na kwake niko fiti utajua tu ni fan. Yote yalisha Goligota, na kama nimekubamba Buda Gota, yote yalisha Goligota, watami kama nimekubamba Buda Gota. No wahala, kuja kwake Yesu no wahala, no wahala, hakuna noma no wahala, no wahala, kuja kwake Yesu no wahala, no wahala, hakuna noma no wahala. Abantu wasivenyanga kama huwa keshe, na mimi nasifu tu ni Mungu pekee. Yeye amenifanya mimi naona mbele, mbele hadi kilele. Mapedekeda imambala joda, mapedekeda mapedekeda imambala joda, mapedekeda bribang. Yote yalisha Goligota, na kama nimekubamba Buda Gota, yote yalisha Goligota, watame kama nimekubamba Buda Gota. No wahala, kuja kwake Yesu no wahala, no wahala, hakuna noma no wahala, no wahala, kuja kwake Yesu no wahala, no wahala, hakuna noma no wahala. First of all, amen.
No wahala, ati hakuna noma, hakuna noma kwake Yesu. Wewe kuja, hatuna noma.
Machanganya lugha hapo hivyo.
Hapana, hakuna noma. Yaani hakuna shida ngumu kwa Yesu wewe.
Kuna mahali ulirusha
Kiluya
mistari hapo za French.
Hapana, ni Kiluya, hapa ndivyo si venyanga kama huwa kesho. Watu wengi wako na mambo yao, lakini ni God ndo kusema. Alafu papedeke da emambala joda, hiyo ni kiteso, inamaanisha Mungu Baba hakuna mwingine kama wewe. Mimi napenda pia kuchanganya Kikuyu, at least pia una reach out kila msee.
Because tuko na some few minutes za kumaliza.
Yes.
Tuseme wewe kama msanii, music industry, wewe kwako imekufavor aje wewe? How's the journey been kwako wewe kama msanii?
Naweza sema ni fiti, mimi siwezi complain because mimi nashukuru God alinipatia but kila kitu yenye mimi nadu. Unacheki leo mimi unani host, pia mimi kuna msee kwa na host hivi unacheki. So mimi God alinipatia job ya TV pia the same somewhere. Sasa unapata niko at the same point. Mimi naweza host msee, naweza ji-host mwenyewe siku moja tu niamke leo mimi ndio host, mimi ndio guest, unacheki. Na naweza play music yangu. So siwezi complain. Alafu pia God amenisaidia that connection na wasee, naweza pia kuhola wewe leo Chris bana ni cheze muziki yangu huko kidogo. So unapata hiyo grace pia God amenisaidia na nashukuru sana. So mimi siwezi complain that music imekuwa normal. Like kuna msanii hata kupata hii chance ya kuja hapa hivi
ni normal.
Sasa ni normal, anasema nitapata happy Chris siku moja. But mimi since niko na hiyo grace at least pia naweza reach out kidogo. I can't take it for granted. Nashukuru tu sana.
Ukipata wewe mwenye anauliza anaweza tupata wapi umrusho huko?
Nitamrusha.
Tutapromote muziki
yake.
I
promise. By the way, mimi hufanya artist management. Mimi nafanya vitu a lot. Nafanya artist management. Pia niko na wasanii wangu wenye wako kwa my company inaitwa Christ Music Management. Hiyo ni wasanii tu wa gospel. Wanafanya video zao, audio zao hapo na pia nawasaidia kusukuma. Yeah.
Okay. And then kwa tukimalizia of course kuna watu pia maybe wanaangalia muziki yako wanasikia vinyo unaimba, wanasikia na wanajua encouragement kutoka kwa muziki yako na maybe kuna mtu ako stuck mahali anasema anataka aanze asianze. Wewe pia muziki yako unasema umeanza tu si kitambo sana. Si kitambo sana. Wewe advice yako kwa vijana kama wewe wanataka kuanza kuimba ama wenye wanaimba na wana struggle inakuwa gani tukimalizia?
Mimi naweza sema tu like unajua mistake ya kwanza si udu tunataka kufanya kama mse fulani. Na Chris wewe na mimi tunajua wasanii. Personally mimi kuna wasanii nilikuwa nasemanga huyu nikipatana naye mtu adunee kitu. Like mse ndio kusema. But ukikuja kujua real life ya mse vitu ni tofauti kwa ground. Wasanii wanateseka. Kuna msanii unaweza muona kwa TV daily. Maybe hata mimi niko hapa lakini sina fare kurudi mtaa. Unacheki. So unapata wasanii wanapitia a lot. But sasa wewe ukitaka kudu kama hao, hao wanajua venye wanajisustain hapo. Wewe ukitaka kudu kama hao, hapo sasa unapatanga umeshindwa kuachieve. Unapigwa na depression, unapigwa na issues zako, unacheka una feel like sasa unachoka nayo hii music inside mali. Wewe stick kwa lane yako, kila mtu ako na pesa yake, kila mtu fanya kitu. Mimi nasemanga do kitu inakufurahisha, usidu kitu inafurahisha. Na wewe stick kwa lane yako, unacheki. Kila mtu ako na time yake. Time yako ikifika, sisi hao. Kuna mse wa kupinga. Mimi nikisema God akisema leo after 2 hapa nimeongea na Chris nitoke hapa nikuwe star. Already mimi najua mimi ni star mali places zingine. So unajua like God akikupatia hiyo chance sasa wewe itumie vizuri.
Alright, social media zako wasi wanaweza kupata wapi? Tukimalizia
on Facebook, Twitter, mpaka TikTok siku hizo wanaume tunatesa huko mbaya. Instagram anzeni Oliver Music. Mimi ni Oliver Music tu hivyo. Na itakuwa amazing.
Amazing kabisa. Right, tuongelelea Asifiwe juu ndo tunafunga naye. Asifiwe, tell us about Asifiwe alafu tuchape kama tunamaliza.
Asifiwe is a simple song. Kama umesikiza hiyo ndio na feeling hiyo ndio song nimejaza message yangu yote yani. Alafu nilikuwa nimechukua break music. So nilikuwa pia na issues zangu. Ma depression vitu zingine hapo but nashukuru God niliovercome. So when nilikam nikakuja kuongelelea Asifiwe. Asifiwe ni facts. Gospel artists tunachanganya vitu. Acha sasa tujiongelee kama gospel artists tuachane na wase wengine. Like vitu tunadu leo yes ni godly but sasa unajua Oliver si Oliver mwenye tunaongea sasa. Oliver ni mwenye mimi peke yangu nimejifungia kwa nyumba yangu. Hapo ndio unajua anga Oliver ni nani. Oliver maybe anageukanga anakuwa mnyama. Oliver maybe anafanyanga vitu si godly na anakuja kutupreachia. Like tusichanganye vitu za world. Tunaweza kuwa tuna preach na sisi huko tunaambia wase ni aje acha tutumie lugha usinyonge. Mimi napenda kutumia hiyo but tunanyonga at the same time tunakuja tunaambia wase hivyo hiyo kitu haini bambangi. Unacheki pia mimi siongelele mse ninajiongelelea juu tumekuwa kwa hizi situations like tunadu vitu at the same time tunachanganya injili na anasa. Unacheki tunahubiri kidogo tuko huku kidogo like nilikuwa naongea tuna gospel artist na wase in general like ukidui kitu wewe do hivi. Kama wewe saizi ni mse host hapa usitaki kuwa host na ukuwe producer, hapana. Wewe kuwa tu host na ibaki hivyo. Juu unajua tunachanganyanga hizi vitu paka sasa inafika time unahitaji kushika computer huko uweke mse live tena wewe mwenyewe unajiweka live. Sasa unakimbia unapata una strain but ukistick wewe ni hapa inakuanga fiti sana.
Umesema nisikuwe producer ni
hiyo ni example. Unajua huwezi kuwa at the same time.
Sasa wacha tumalize na Asifiwe. See you next week on Friday same time same place Kirk in the morning but right about now tunamaliza show na Asifiwe.
Na nimeshukuru sana manze for this opportunity.
Nimeshukuru umekuja. Thank you so much. Next time ukitoa ngoma mpya pia tuambie tutafuta ninakulete. Right, maliza na Asifiwe. Oliver Music.
Kiwe juu kazi ni kudance kweli ni kusifu tu niko shule yake kama mtoto wa form 2. This is how we dance, this is how we come. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Amen. Asifiwe nani amen. Yesu asifiwe. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Amen. Asifiwe nani amen. Yesu asifiwe. Proniesta sometimes tumejawa na madrama changanya injili na anasa mayutu kujidunga madawa na bado tuna feel ni kama tuko sawa. Twajidanganya hadi lini kuchanganya vya roho na kimwili na bado tunahubiri injili manze mpaka tunahongwa deladini riswa alidedi msalabani kutuandalia za usoni kazi kumsifu kanisani na bado na amini yumwema moyoni. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Amen. Asifiwe nani amen. Yesu asifiwe. Bwana Yesu asifiwe. Amen. Asifiwe nani amen. Yesu asifiwe. Yesu asifiwe. Yeye ndiye mjanja, eti mimi ndo mshamba, lakini nasifu simba wa Yuda. Onana, kila mtu weka kichwa juu, kisha pepe rusha na mikono iwe juu. Kazi ni kudance, kweli ni kusifu tu, niko shule yake kama mtoto wa form 2.